Hopefully you can hear me. Um, and this is going to be an interesting background change, but that's okay. All right, perfect. So I am so excited for episode 2 of Tiny But Mighty. And I have Cindy here, who is the owner of Caz Acres. And along with her husband, Larry, she's been working with goats actually since about 2007. So they didn't originally start out as a personal care company, but now they make all kinds of specialty soaps from goat milk, which is really unique to the industry if you're looking for something that is small batch and highly ethically sourced. She absolutely loves these beautiful, beautiful animals that are over on the farm. And I had the opportunity to be able to pet them when I picked up a product for my son, which was even more exciting. That's even better of a bonus for shopping with a small business, right? But she's been so welcoming and gracious with me as a newcomer to the industry, just trying to help. And I have deeply appreciated her willingness to be a mentor to me as I am coming up into this local small business connection. And I'm so excited for you to hear more from her. So, welcoming to the stage, Cindy. Thank you so much for making it.
Hi, Erica.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Oh, so we've been in the planning on this one for a couple minutes, and I'm excited to be able to dive into a little bit more. And I'm glad that the technology finally decided to work. My background is all weird, so don't worry, you missed out on all of the silly stuff that I was doing. All right. So into our first question. Before you owned the business, before you had the goats, all of that kind of stuff, what was your story leading into this business?
Oh gosh. I was a bookkeeper. I have my degree in accounting, um, and did my own business, bookkeeping business for a while for several local small businesses, and then kind of started um, getting a little stressed about it, and so went on to take a bigger stressful job as a dispatcher.
Oh my goodness.
um, Yep. And then a lot of things happened and fell out of place and out of whack, and end up leaving. Took a year off, and then decided my husband wanted to start a farm, a bigger farm, and so that's what I did. I didn't go back to work off the farm since then. That was back in 2016. We started renovating the barns. Um, and then that winter, we had leftover milk, so I decided to start making soap.
That's amazing. And when you say that you haven't been doing work off the farm, that is such a gross understatement of all of the that you are all the time. You are so dynamic, and this pop-up shop and the stuff that you do out of your storefront and all of the different markets and things that you're involved in. So yes, it certainly takes you all over the place too.
Yes, it does. Yep, absolutely.
um, I definitely would say that you are the definition of hustle when it comes to those things and innovating and constantly finding that new thing, which is really awesome.
Well, thank you.
All right. So, when you were 7 years old, what did you think you were going to be when you grew up?
I honestly had no idea. um, I guess I didn't think about being a farmer. I grew up on a dairy farm, so farming was just not something that I saw my dad do a lot, and my mom, and it just wasn't something that I thought I would grow up and be. I just expected to be living in a warm place and sunshine all around me all the time, and that just didn't happen.
Wait, so did they have a traditional like cow dairy?
Yes, yeah. My dad had a Thai, what they call a Thai sow farm. The cows just lined up and got put in stanchions. Then they brought the milkers to them and moved them down through. At peak, my dad, I think, milked 75.
Wow.
Um, yep, and it was him. They did have a hired hand, but it was him and my mom and my brothers and us, my sister and I. But yeah, we traditional dairy farm.
Wow. So, and I know this is a little off the beaten path of our initial questions, but I am very curious. What is the biggest difference between a cow dairy and a goat dairy, in your opinion?
Size of the animals is the biggest difference.
True.
Um, because in manure, when a goat has manure, it's can fit in the size of your hand. When a cow goes, you have both hands, and that's to me that's the biggest difference. Is the manure. We wouldn't be able to have a dairy on what little bit of acreage we have. There wouldn't be enough room for them. Where we have enough room for the goats, they can go outside and wander all over and everything. And just cows, we just wouldn't have the room for them.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, everything would be bigger, right? The amount of food
Oh
that they
yeah.
would need, the amount of water they would require.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah,
Wow.
everything would be bigger. Yeah. We just put in a new tank, so we would have a bigger tank to start with. I mean, everything. Yeah, everything. That's the big difference. Um, our goats eat the same as a cow would eat. Haylage, hay, grain, the same things, just in smaller quantities.
Nice. And how about the milk output? How different is that?
Oh, that's huge. I mean, a cow can give you 80 pounds of milk, where a goat will give you, 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So that's another big. I mean, at peak we milked. Our average was about 9.4, which is really good for a goat. And I know, there's farms out there that are getting over 80 pounds of milk per cow. So that's a big difference.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Awesome. So we got into the when did you start it? And it started in kind of 2007 with the first goat, but then it was really starting to become that business in 2016, right?
Yes, yep. We raised meat goats, boar goats, from 2007 up until about 2015, or yeah, 15. We sold most of them. We kept our original doe and a companion for, and they had free range. They were all over the yard, on the deck, you name it, they were there. And then yeah, the dairy started in 16. We started with 6 goats in our grain room, what is now our grain room, and then by the time we were milking in May, we were at 35.
Wow. And how many do you have today?
103.
Amazing. And I know
Yeah,
we were talking about it yesterday, but you have quite a few babies on the way too, right?
babies. Yes, we start babies. It's called kidding when a goat has a baby, and we start kidding February 27th. And we have 30 of them due between the 27th and March 6th. So yeah,
Wow.
we'll have lots and lots of babies.
And the best part about that news for anybody who will be eventually watching this is that if you are looking to get into this kind of situation, there will be opportunities for you to be able to get them, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. 3 days old, they can leave the farm. At 3 days old, they've had their colostrum. They're standing up, drinking. We know that they're got what we call their feet underneath them. They're all healthy and ready to go at 3 days old. So yeah, well, and we'll have lots of them if someone wants to start a dairy or a backyard farm. Or yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay, and we will make sure that we're linking phone number for you to call, and that's also on the website too, on your
Yes.
website. Right? So
Yep.
just in case there's a million different ways that you can find it and make sure that you are reaching out if that's an interest for you. And would they make good pets, you think?
Oh yeah, you have to have two. They're companion animals, so you have to have two. But yeah, they make wonderful pets. I mean, a lot of people like the miniature ones. I prefer the bigger ones. The miniature ones can get you into more trouble because they jump and bounce more, and where you have to have a taller fence, which doesn't make any sense when you have a smaller animal. Um, but these guys, I mean, like I said, our original 2 does were free range in the backyard. They didn't ever go out near the road. We live right on 22. They never went near the road. They stayed in the backyard, and slept on the deck at night a lot of times, and nothing bothered them because they were so close to the house. Um, yeah, they definitely make good companion animals, and just like a dog, cat kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the babies are so playful that they're so much fun.
Yes, they are. Yep.
I'm sure they're a handful when you're trying to get. All right. So um, right now is definitely a little bit different than where you started the whole thing. Obviously, we're starting off with the milk going to those local artisan cheese makers, and that's still part of the business model.
Yes. Yep.
But it is shifted through this personal care piece. And then you have some other things on the horizon, right? And so what led you to go into the personal care piece that drives you to that innovation too?
When the first year when we started, our cheese artisans want a minimum amount of milk because that's what their vat can hold, and that's how they make their milk or how they make their cheese. It has to be a certain amount. So when we were getting to December where the girls were drying off, but not quite enough, we'd have a couple of gallons. And I didn't want to ever dump it down the drain. We work hard enough to keep it. I can only drink so much of it. I can only eat so much fudge, kind of that kind of stuff. So we decided to start making soap. We actually had a partner then, and she had made goat milk soap. So showed me the ropes, and it kind of went off from there. I didn't make it all year long. I just made it in the wintertime, just with the extra milk. And then 2 years after that, I got requests and got a following, and so decided that, well, I'm going to make it all year long. Ended up going into a couple of different shops, small little shops in town. One was Small Song in Hoosick Falls. She's been an advocate for me since day one. And for a little shop, she does wonderful, and she promotes my soap. And I mean, and so it kind of went from there into other. I'm in a handful of shops now. 2 years ago, I was in probably 15. Decided to back off a little bit because it was getting where I was spending more time in my soap room than I was out in the farm, which isn't a bad thing. But then slow down a little bit. So I'm at about a handful of them. But that, yeah, now I'd like to take, I just started doing soap classes, just to give an idea. So people who, if they ever want to make batch of soap or whatever, or just want to make their own gift for somebody. But now I'd like to see more of the farm come into play this year. I'd like to do some agritourism. Last year we opened up the kid barn, so people could come and play with the baby goats. Every weekend we had a barn full of people wandering around playing with baby goats, helping them feed. At that time we only had, there was 22 of them up in the barn. But I'd like to be able to expand it to maybe a wine and cheese night and the farm, for people to come back and see us milk one night. Our parlor is set up so you can actually see from the outside. You don't even actually have to go into the parlor because of the windows. I'd like to do more of that this year, more agritourism, more educating people on goats and goat products, and not just soap, but cheese and milk and everything else that goes into a goat. Kind of more education towards this year.
Oh, I love that. And if there's anybody in like a town council, has some funding, who's listening to this,
Oh yeah.
Any support that you are willing to put into this, I think would be really beautiful because it really helps to support further agricultural development up in this area, which is so critical to the Capital District.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, any funding. Yeah, we're looking at grants. Or I should say, I'm looking at grants. It's always a we thing. I have a mouse in my pocket most of the time.
Me too.
But yeah, definitely looking into grant money, or if someone's looking to wants to donate, that would be great. Even time donating this spring, time cleaning up and trying to get my flower beds back up to where they should be. Last year, with all the rain and everything, they just kind of didn't go as well. And plus my soap business is like beyond busy. I mean, I'm in my soap room 3-4 days a week prepping for a project for, in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks kind of thing. So yeah.
Awesome. So what would you say is your favorite part of what you do then, because of that balance between all of it?
Oh, geez, my favorite part. I actually enjoy being out in the barn feeding them. It may sound a little odd, but that's my favorite part because then I'm touching them all. They're all coming up to me. I mean, because they want to be fed, but they're all coming up looking for attention. That's my favorite part, because then I can, you see them health wise and stuff like that too. But then you get the attention that from them that they want too. So I guess that's my favorite part of the farm.
They are very clearly well loved. There's no question when you meet them. They're happy. They don't shy away from a hand. It is so. I got so many kisses. I'd never had a goat kiss me before, but every single one of them was in for it. It was So beautiful. And my son, oh my gosh, he fell in love with them. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's the new barn that we put up. We put up a kid, we call it the kid barn. The front is actually all open. It's a hoop barn. And so you can walk up to it if you want to stop at the shop and get soap, but you can walk up to the goats and you don't have to go in the barn. They'll come to you at the front gate. I think that's what they did with you.
Yep.
And yep, they're like, oh, touch me, pet me, and
So
yeah, they'll stand right there waiting for you. Yeah.
oh, well, and when you have bigger enterprises, you can't always know what's going on behind the scenes. And I think that that's one of the beauties of a small business is that you get that very personal glimpse of these are the goats, they're loved. This is where the milk is coming from that's making these soaps. You can tell that it's all clearly ethically sourced because they're happy babies.
Yep, they are very happy kids. Yep.
So, what would you say is the hardest part of entrepreneurship?
Oh, not taking a day off or not being able to take a day off. My job isn't, even 4 a.m. to, the chores 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. Because technically I'm running two businesses. I'm running a soap business and a farm. My husband does a lot more of the farm. He's not into soap. He comes down to my soap room when it's necessary, um, but doesn't. And that's the hardest part we find is that balance that you have to have a day off, or even at night I physically have to shut my phone off because I'll get messages all night long or emails or hey, an order popped in, someone's shopping at 10 o'clock at night. Um, and I have the issue where I see the order, okay, I got to go pack it right now. And so I have to, that balance is the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur is, okay, I need to shut it off at 6 o'clock. I can't work all night long. And to me, that's tough.
It is. And especially when you love it, because it's
Yeah.
clear that it doesn't sound like drudgery that you're packing that order. You're excited to do it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I want people to get their product because I worked hard to make that product and I love and I enjoy doing it. And yeah, I want people to enjoy my product just as well. So yeah, it's not, oh gosh, I got an order. It's yes, I got an order and really want to get that out to them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's shutting the phone off at 6 o'clock at night and letting my daughter know that, hey, my phone shut off tonight. If you need something, you gotta call dad kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, too much of a good thing is still too much for sure.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
So, is there any side missions that you're hoping to accomplish through your work? I feel like maybe the education piece is kind of starting to develop, right?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do more of this year is to educate more, get people more like a hands-on. When COVID happened, a lot of people got animals. They wanted that homestead. They wanted that, they wanted to be able to produce for themselves, which is great. Um, and a lot of people didn't have that education, and I'd like to see us, Larry and I, get put more of that education out. We do have, you know, we have a community of goat people that, if we bounce ideas back and forth, if we have a sick goat and that, and I'd like to have that, expand that education and hand it out to people who don't have that, or people who just aren't around animals that much and want to, hey, I want to spend a day, milking a goat, or I want to spend a day, playing with baby goats, kind of thing. To educate them more. To yeah, they're fun and they're cute, but they are a little bit of work, and but more of that like I said, the agritourism to try to get them at the education out there.
I love that. That's really special. So, setting up and operating a business where there's complexities, there's things that are tough and barriers that get put in the way, especially for a small business. If I made you a magic wand and you could change anything about the startup process or the managing process instantaneously, what would it be?
Oh gosh, a magic wand. I think someone. I'd want a partner. Yeah, Larry and I are. I consider our one partner, but to have a partner to come in and to help us with all of this, and not just be there for the paycheck kind of thing. To be able to grow, because we'd like to retire, and to be able to pass this down to someone would be awesome. Larry's always saying that. I wish there was someone there that could take over, or someone there that's interested in it. and that wants to have their own farm. That's kind of a little bit more of the agro tourism, that education to maybe somebody would, hey, I'm really interested in this, and that would be my magic wand as a partner.
That's awesome. Well, maybe the right person will be watching this and they'll have an opportunity to reach out and let you know. And I think that agro-tourism piece is so critical, bringing people in and giving them that site, that could be the natural segue into that. That's such a great idea.
Yep.
So what advice would you give to somebody if they were just starting out their business?
Just to know your limits. You do need that 6 o'clock time cutoff. You need to be able to spend time with family and not feel like so overwhelmed that you have to work 24 hours a day. Not a lot of people do that, but that would be my advice, is to set your limit. It's not a 9 to 5 job, but maybe Sundays you don't work, or maybe all day Saturday you don't work, and to be able to enjoy life at the same time. Maybe you have to work a little harder, on a Friday to get everything done, to take that Saturday off, but still, you still get that Saturday off.
Yeah, boundaries are important in all things, including business, for sure. All right. Do you have an embarrassing moment that you want to share?
Embarrassing. Not really.
That is okay. I think about goats and the opportunities to create embarrassment. I mean, there's probably boundless things.
Oh yeah. I've walked out of the barn to deliver our milk and not realize that, I still had my barn pants on and they've got holes in them and everything. And I'm like, oh, I need to stop at the grocery store. Not even thinking. You walk in and you're like, oh, that was stupid. Yeah.
Oh, thankfully, most people are not paying attention to us anywhere near the amount that we
Yes, thank goodness they weren't that day.
Oh, so if customers could take away one thing about you or the business, what would you hope it would be?
That I enjoy what I do. And when I'm creating a batch of soap, it's not just to, oh, geez, I can make $20 or whatever off the batch of soap. I'm creating it because I want somebody's skin to feel better, or someone's skin to look better, or it's not just a product to sell. It's a product that I want someone to like my soap, to enjoy it. Just like our milk. We don't just drop off milk just to a cheese artisan. We actually go and buy their cheese. And so I want to create a product that's good for, that's a quality product, not just a moneymaker kind of thing. I like standing behind my product saying, hey, yes, that's what I did,
That's really beautiful. And for most people will not know, and I was going to say for those that don't know, but most people will not know that goat milk based soap specifically is good for eczema. And they have peer reviewed research on this. And my son recently, both of my sons actually this winter, experienced their first eruptions of eczema on their hands. And both of them used the unscented goat soap that we picked up from you and the lotion bar that we got from you. And within a couple of days, it was magically gone. There is nothing unscented that I have ever found in a grocery store that has made my hands better than that. And I have struggled with it since I was tiny, and they would just crack and bleed every year. And you solved it for us.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, mine are the same way. I have very dry skin. And yeah, that's so for me to create a product, I want to be able to use it. And I'm not the sensitive skin person like a lot of people are, but yeah, my hands I get dry. I would go through gallons of lotion, and I finally found one that, geez, I'm not going through 14 bottles of it. I'm going through a bottle of lotion that I make. So yeah, I'm not just, like I said, not just making it just to create a product to make money. I'm making it because, hey, this is what I need too, And I want my neighbors or like your sons to be able to use a product that's going to be good for them, that's going to help them. Yep.
With nothing questionable ingredient wise that I have to be like, well, maybe I should research that.
Yeah. The only thing that's not that people question me about is the sodium hydroxide. They're like, that sounds kind of caustic. Well, it is, but if you don't use it, you don't have soap. But by the time you get to that bar of soap, there's not. It's all chemical reactions, and it's all
A
changed
lot.
over into soap by the time you guys get it. But yeah, everything else that I use is natural, or as natural as I can use. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So what is, oh, do you have any employees?
No, no, it's just my husband and I. Well, we do. We have two dogs. We have two healers. They're both sisters. One I got when she was a puppy, and she actually herds them. We trained
Oh,
her, or I trained her to stand back with me herding the goats up from one barn to the next barn. Yeah, we don't have a big space to go, but when you're trying to move 30 goats and it's just you, yeah, Ella does a really good job. So yes, I do have an employee.
oh, that's awesome. Do you, you're talking about a partner, but do you feel like maybe an employee in the future might be helpful as you're kind of transitioning while you're waiting for a partner or?
Maybe we do have a friend that does come and help us milk a couple of mornings so we can get a couple mornings off. Um, she does it because she likes goats. She's never milked before till she came here. But no, I'd much rather see a partner than an employee. Somebody that's more invested in the business and not just invested in a paycheck kind of thing.
Right, for sure. Um, all right. And what is your vision for the future of the company right now, like in the next upcoming couple of weeks? I think you have a pretty exciting gift box getting ready to launch for
Oh,
Valentine's Day, right?
yes, the soap part of it. Yes, I have a gift box for Valentine's Day. One for a man and one for a woman. That's just scented that way. The guy's box has a soap that's scented like leather and shave soap in it. My first time making it's a soft bar of shave soap. It comes with a little shave brush and beard oil. And
Awesome.
then the women's box is a necklace made from another local artisan. She makes it out of silverware. Very interesting, very cool idea.
Yeah.
Beautiful products. And then obviously a bar soap and lotion to go in with it. And then you can add a candle from another local artisan. I'm trying to incorporate not just my products, but other local small businesses into the basket. Yes.
Love.
And hopefully I can announce that tomorrow. I'm hoping.
Awesome, awesome. And I love the way that you elevate other small businesses. You really do bring other people up with you as you're going along.
Yeah, I mean I can make candles, not a problem making candles, but I'd much rather Paul just does an amazing job with them. And the jewelry this Krista makes is just phenomenal. It's just beautiful jewelry using, you know, silverware, which
That's
is
awesome.
really neat.
That might otherwise end up in a landfill somewhere. It's perfect.
Yeah, yep, yep, yep.
All right. What's one simple way that people could support your small business without spending a dollar?
I'm sorry, repeat that question one more time.
What's one simple way that people could support your small business without spending any money, without buying products?
Promotion, just sharing like a social media page, and just sharing something, or even just stopping by the farm. I mean, on days when we have babies, just you don't have to spend a dime to walk in and just enjoy babies and learn about the goats. But yeah, just sharing, if they never bought a product before, just sharing it, just saying, social media is good for that. I post all the time. Well, I just did recently, instead of doing anything, just share my page. Say, hey, someone else might want a product or might want to buy a product, but that person doesn't have to spend a dime to do it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure that I'm linking all of the socials, and this will be pasted onto those socials as well. But anybody who's not following you should be following you, especially coming into the kid season.
Yep.
There's so many cute videos and pictures.
Yeah. Constantly, all kinds of baby goats. Yes. Yep. It's about the only time I actually carry my phone out in the barn is when we have baby goats, so I can take all kinds of pictures. Otherwise, the bigger girls pickpocket and take my phone. They've walked away with it, dropped it in water tubs, just stepped on it. Just automatically, hey, I don't want it anymore. There it goes, But yeah, so that's the only time I usually carry my phone.
Oh my goodness. That okay, so note to self, not taking my phone into the car. Oh my goodness, that's great. Have you ever had a special request from a customer that you found to be really unique?
um, I've had people last year I had a group of ladies want to come to the farm to make soap and then requested that they get it they actually wanted to go hang out with the goats for the afternoon. And this is a group of ladies that came up from New Jersey, New York City, not country girls. And I was kind of surprised that they actually wanted to do that. And so they made soap, we made fudge with them, and then brought them outside, and they hung out outside for probably 3 hours just hanging out with the goats. And it's not a really odd request, but to me, from them, it was an odd request that to see someone, stepping out of their boundaries to go hang out with our goats and us. It was kind of
Hmm,
neat.
I love that. I really, really love that. And what a great idea for something that doesn't revolve around alcohol. Because, in our culture, a lot when you're getting together with friends, even when it's like a sip and paint, there's still alcohol involved in it. So for those
Yeah,
that are looking for a non-alcohol solution inside of that moment that they could spend, and that's a long time. If you made fudge and you made soap and you hung out with the goats for three
yeah,
hours, that
they
is a
were
worthwhile trip.
they came about 10 o'clock, and I don't think they left till just about milking time, about 3 o'clock. Yeah, they hung out on. Like I said, they were hanging out outside. I mean, it was a beautiful day to hang out outside with the goats and everything. But yeah, that's what. Yeah, it was kind of neat. It was, like I said, not some people might not be think of it as unusual, but and that kind of got me started with doing more educating with goats and being able to, hey, come hang out with the goats for the night, and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That is awesome. All right. Well, we do have a couple more minutes. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you would hope to be able to share?
Um, not not really. My husband, we don't ever. He doesn't ever show up in any social media. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that he does. Pictures he does. Um, but he is the backbone to part of this too. Is he's the reason why we started the dairy. He grew up working on cow dairy farms and that, and then when we sold all the goats, you could feel that sense of there was something missing. So when he decided that, well, geez, we'll start a dairy, and to be honest, I was hesitant. I was like, no, I don't think we need to. We just got rid of the goats. Let's enjoy life and go on vacation. And um, but when he walks out in that barn, he's just calm and relaxed, and it's good for him. I mean, it's. But like I said, no one sees him. He's on the farm when I'm off at farmers markets, and he's delivering milk when I'm out delivering products to stores. You know, he's off putting hay in the barn, while I'm milking. You don't see him in the back, up front, but he's there, and he's the reason why we have this. So it's kind of neat to be able to share his love of the goats and that's kind of another reason why I want to do that agritourism. He has no problem with people coming on the farm. He'll talk your ear off just as much as I will about soap, but he'll do it about goats. So it's kind of neat to put him in his element and take me out of out of the front selling a product. Let him talk about a product like the goats and the milk and that kind of thing.
I love that so much. We all have our unique skill sets. And
Yeah,
even when you're talking about a couple heading a business, there's going to be strengths for each of them. And that's really, really beautiful. And also the idea that he's not necessarily silent. You just have to get him talking about the right thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be at a farmer's market if he needs to be, and he'll promote it and he'll talk about it. It's kind of funny, and I probably shouldn't say he does not like goat cheese.
Oh, okay.
So to get him to go to a farmer's market to sell it, he can sell, he has no problem with, but he just like, no, I don't like goat cheese. He'll drink milk and fudge and everything else, but just not the goat cheese. So to get him to a farmer's market, is a little out of his element. So to being him being on the farm. Yeah, we're kind of the yin and the yang to this to keep both sides going.
Oh, I love that so much. That's really, really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to wrap up episode 2 here, and then Cindy, I'm going to have the opportunity to talk to you hopefully soon, and we'll talk more about those boxes and getting those put together. And if anybody is interested for getting that for their partner, we will have more information linked to this as it comes up and starts going.
Okay, thanks, Erica.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Take care. Can't get this to wake up. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. One viewer the entire time, which is fantastic, and I really appreciate it. And more coming soon. Take care. Thursday, 1 p.m. We have another live stream, episode 3. I'm going to be talking to Aisha, who is a personal communication coach and has a couple of other credentials to her name. I'm excited to be able to have her on. She's from all the way over in the UK, making some international connections here through this podcast. I appreciate you being here. Take care.